All rights reserved. We reserve all rights. COVID-19 virology fraud explained in 19 minutes. This is a strawberry. As an organism, it is made up of millions of tiny cells, proteins, tissues, and genetic materials that make up the organism as a whole, called a strawberry. Metaphorically, it can also represent a single human cell. When slit open, we can see all of the proteins, microbes, and parts within the cell that make up the entire cell as a whole. This particular strawberry is already dying because it has been picked from the nourishing vine that supplies it its life-giving oxygen, water, and minerals from the soil below. The only reason it is still alive is because it is surviving on the last oxygen, water, and minerals that its vine gave it before it was picked. Its days are numbered. The average adult human loses between 50 and 70 billion cells each day due to apoptosis, meaning the natural programmed death of old cells, plus millions of dying bacteria and microbes, and in the case of physical injury or a poisonous, acidic blood pH from stress, worry, poor diet, lack of oxygen, and environmental toxins, billions more cells can die from necrosis, or unnatural traumatic cell death. Our body's bacteria and microzyma eat all of this dead cell debris, and the body expels whatever they don't eat through the various excretory organs. Germs and bacteria are dead cell debris eaters. Viruses are nothing more than dead cell debris. Virologists observed in the late 1960s that when certain cells die either naturally or by being poisoned in a petri dish, the surface proteins morph into spike proteins, which they call virions, and the bulbous surface reminded them of the sun's solar corona or halo. So they named this a coronavirus, from the Latin corona, meaning crown or wreath. This is a cell. This is dead cell debris, or a virus. Cell, virus. This virus did not kill this cell. It was already dying of necrosis from the moment it was picked from the nourishing vine, and my fist gave it the finishing blow. This virus is neither harmful nor contagious. It is simply dead cell debris. Now, the internal bacteria inside of the cell start to grow and eat the dead cell debris. They do not come from the atmosphere. They come from inside of the dying cell. Germs, dead cell debris eaters. Just like the virus, these bacteria did not kill these strawberries and are not killing them right now. They were dying from the moment they were picked from the vine in both of these cases, and my fist finished the job in the case of the jelly virus on the right. Just like this bird did not kill this roadkill, the car that ran it over killed it. The bird is the metaphorical germ, eating the dead cell debris. Unfortunately, the early pioneers of virology like Virchow, Pasteur, Crook, and later Enders noticed that they always found these bacteria and germs in the tissue samples of people who had died or suffered from a disease, and they just assumed they must have been the cause of the disease, since they were always there. They didn't yet notice the bacteria were coming from inside the dying cells themselves. No different than noticing the rooster crows just before the sun rises, and assuming that rooster crowing must cause the sun to rise. The bogus germ theory of disease was born, and soon a multi-billion-dollar-a-year pharmaceutical industry arose, selling people endless snake oil cold and flu medications, antibiotics, vaccinations, and surgical procedures to remove excretory organs, in the name of protecting us from these harmless germs. Some virologists are brainwashed in their allopathic medical schools and just not clever people. Others know the truth and are just plain frauds, living off the cash cow. But here's what they are doing in a nutshell. They take a sample of sputum or snot, which is nothing more than the dead rotting flesh or cellular debris from the billions of human and bacteria cells that die every day inside our bodies and are being excreted by the lungs, as well as the other excretory organs, which is why we find the different viruses in the different excretory organs, like this smashed strawberry virus. Then they mix those cells in a petri dish tissue culture with the sick, dying flesh and cells of monkey kidney tissue. Like this dying pineapple. And then add some other sick tissue, like cancerous alveolar A549 cells from human lungs with cancer. Then they add dying cells from sick calf and bovine. Just like this dying lettuce. And so, you're left with this genetic soup blend of all sorts of dying cellular debris and genetic material from various sources. Then, virologists starve that soup of random genetic human, bacterial, cow, monkey kidney, and lung cancer cells and tissue of all nutrients to kill and deteriorate them even faster, just like picking the strawberry off of its nourishing vine. And they poison it with known tissue-killing and deteriorating substances like gentamicin and amphotericin.